On November 27th, 2020, the content creator and his subsequent lore character, Ranboo, was added to the Dream SMP. Just 1 year and 1 day later, on November 28th, 2021, the character Ranboo suffered his last and final canon death. While we haven't seen or been given any context about his 2 other canon deaths in the SMP, the final death was confirmed by the content creator himself on a separate Twitter account. Additionally, we saw a mere few minutes later the appearance of Ghostboo, the ghost version of Ranboo. These events have spurred massive speculation over the likes of Ranboo's afterlife, especially since a clip resurfaced of Wilbur talking about everyone's version of Limbo.
Do you know most people have told me their plans for Limbo if their character dies? What their Limbo would be.
Oh yeah?
Oh my god, Ranboo's, man.
Is it cool?
It's just so sad, it's so evil.
He's the king of angst on this server, honestly. He really does he really pushes the boundaries of making his chat cry.
Ranboo's Limbo. The chat just gotta hope that Ranboo doesn't lose all his lives.
Can you type it to me so I can just read it and react?
Yeah. Hold on, I'll just send you the screenshot of it.
Cool.
There you go.
Let's see. Let me give this a little read.
Everyone has a limbo.
This
if they die, everyone goes to a limbo.
To resub during a stream, lol. Hi Phil, I have gotten the stab.
Man. Man. Oh my god. That's fuck. Yeah, dude, that is angsty, dude. Holy fuck. That is so sad. Oh my god.
Since then, people have begun to wonder what Ranboo's Limbo is, and how bad it could potentially get. Some have claimed it to be a version of his panic room surrounded by water, preventing him from getting out alive if he tried. Others have guessed it's a similar place where he's forgotten everything. Some had even previously speculated that he would have his full memory in Limbo, and that would be painful enough. However, when looking at what we know about Ranboo, and what we know about the way a character's Limbo works, not all of these add up. What if, instead of the most twisted thing fans can think of for Ranboo's Limbo, he went in the exact opposite direction? What if it's not so bad from the outside, but when you look a bit closer, it becomes so much worse? This is my theory on how the character Ranboo's version of Limbo is just him continuing to exist on the SMP. Before we get into the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos just like this one. I'm trying to reach 100 subscribers by the end of the year, so it would really mean a lot. Okay, now back to the video. Ranboo's character. Ranboo can often be described as a very anxious or nervous character. One of his biggest beliefs is to choose people, not sides. However, almost every conflict he's been involved in requires him to choose between people on opposing sides of an argument. From his very first days on the server, Ranboo has been brought into multiple conflicts, causing him pain and suffering. He helped burn George's house down, then watched as Tommy took the blame for it and eventually went into exile. He then tried to help L'Manberg in its final days, but instead ended up moving in with the very same people who helped destroy it. Since then, much of his character's lore has been centered around Ranboo going over what has happened in his head and how he feels about it. In addition, he uses this as a chance to help him remember what has been going on, since his character suffers from frequent memory loss. However, these thinking lore streams seem to always end with Ranboo becoming distressed, injured, or just worse off than before. This has caused him to become extremely paranoid, leading to things such as the panic room, and the days of hunting for totems of undying. His few moments of happiness on the server are with those he holds closest, such as Tubbo and Michael. All in all, Ranboo's current character seems to be all paranoia and little to no relaxation. Ghostboo versus Ranboo. When a ghost character enters the Dream SMP, they are a shell of their past life, a remnant of what was. And at the same time, they are able to grow just as any other character would, but they grow to a point. A ghost version of a character only retains half of the essence of their character. For example, Ghostboo only possessed Wilbur's happy memories, and Wilbur only gained back those memories after his revival, plus the new ones Ghostboo made along the way. With this in mind, Boo, or Ghostboo, is a very relaxed and happy version of what he used to be. He has what seems to be his full memory, and is very content having lost his anxious and paranoid side. In fact, the Boo we meet says that he is content with staying dead, and thinks it's a wonderful feeling. Knowing that Boo prefers being dead, we can only assume that he had a harder time whilst he was alive. Which leads me to Ranboo's Limbo is just another day on the SMP. The Ranboo currently in Limbo is the one we've grown to know and love. He's the one with the memory loss, the one who's anxious, paranoid, and develops attachments quickly. This means that Ranboo is his usual self, but might also not retain the few happy memories he did have, as they are with Ghostboo. When we look at the prior mentions of Limbo, they are about mental pain over physical. For example, Tommy's Limbo is a black void of nothingness, and Wilbur's is a train station, waiting for a train that would never come. Based on the facts from these other two Limbos, we can rule out one for Ranboo that involves physical pain, i.e., anything to do with water or repeatedly dying. We can also rule out his panic room, as though it was a place where he suffered a lot of mental anguish, he did so willingly. This was his safe space to let loose and freak out. It is called the panic room after all. It wouldn't make sense in that regard to place his Limbo somewhere he would seek as a safe space. Instead, we should look at the places which caused him to seek a safe space in the first place. For that, we need to turn to the rest of the SMP. This was his entire world, the place he lived, fought, and died. It was the place he suffered the most pain, but also the most joy. However, if we take away the few joys and memories he had for Ghostboo, what we are left with is a version of Ranboo who is permanently paranoid and anxious, and can't remember why. After all, he's in the SMP, his normal home, so why should he feel so upset? This is what I think his version of Limbo truly is. Just Ranboo, seemingly continuing to live his life, but with no happy thoughts and no memories. In fact, he may not even realize it's his Limbo at all. Speaking of which, Ranboo's plans for the future. Ranboo the content creator has said that this death has been planned for a long time, and that he's using it as sort of a reset for his character. It would stand to reason then that Ranboo the character would eventually be revived on the SMP and work as a sort of do-over for his own story. This fits in with this theory for his Limbo, because if and when his character is revived, time will have passed on the server, but he may not realize that. If he isn't revived for a while, and or a lot of story happens before then, the server could be very different to how he left it. If Ranboo's Limbo is just him on the SMP, then he may not fully realize that he's been dead and then brought back right away. We know this because Wilbur didn't get all of Ghostboo's memories back right away. It took some time for them to slowly trickle in. And the only reason he knew he was being revived is because he went from a train station with Dream back to the SMP. But in Ranboo's case, seeing Dream on the SMP could just be played off as a hallucination, just part of him still thinking he's crazy. And this could translate so that when he's revived, he may not even believe it right away. Then once people start asking questions about his limbo, and they find out it was just like his life before, the other members are going to have to cope with that. This does align with what creators Wilbur and Philza mentioned about his limbo being the most upsetting one. Because life must be truly awful for a person if their version of limbo is almost exactly the same. And how much would it hurt fans to realize that Ranboo, their beloved, has been suffering even more than they thought, all the while trying to entertain them? And finally, it adds a lot of new avenues for Ranboo the creator to take his character's story. He might eventually gain his full memory in a post-revival world, but if the server really has changed, he could treat it as a second day one on the SMP for his character. Either way, it provides some very interesting ideas to be used for his character's story in the future. Hopefully, we do get to find out what Ranboo's version of Limbo is, and hopefully that coincides with him not having to exist there anymore and get revived. But until then, we can only speculate as to what his Limbo can truly be. If you enjoyed this video, then please hit the like button and subscribe for more content just like this. Let me know in the comments what you think Ranboo's version of Limbo is, and be sure to check out my other Dream SMP theory videos on the screen. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!